What's up, Annie Lazor?
What's going on?
So you're saying you're a little sore from this weekend, huh?
So, I haven't done a tricep dip in, oh God, probably like 4 or 5 years. And so we did 90 of them.
Uh-huh.
It was partnered,
So
but you did 15 at a time.
Yeah.
3 times. So it was
Yeah.
45 still.
Yeah, 45 dips.
Ring
Ring dips too.
Ring dips.
That was I like you hadn't done dips in years.
No.
And oh my gosh, that CrossFit workout was brutal.
Yeah, so I was trying to when we were doing them, I was trying to favor my right arm, my left arm over my right, because my right one's got some issues. But so I was trying to do it, and it was fine at the time. And then I woke up the next morning, and I was like, I think I broke my elbow. I can't. I'm like, John, where are you?
JP, I need you to fix me
right now.
I need my PT right now.
I know. I've been missing him. So this morning we we're with Sean, the guy who gave us the workout on Saturday, and I was complaining about it, and he just comes up to me with this thick band.
Oh,
and
yes.
just wraps it around my arm, and I'm like, what are you doing? He says nothing. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, this is going to help a little bit. We're going to restrict the blood flow, and then we're going to put it back in, and it's going to recover it. And I'm like, okay, I've done stuff like this before. And then all of a sudden, he just takes where it is the most sore and just grabs it with this super thick band wrapped around from probably my shoulder down to my elbow, and just starts going, massaging it, going at it for 90 seconds.
Yeah.
And I almost threw up. It was so painful. Not to get into detail, but we will. I thought I tasted blood for a second. I was like, it was 8 a.m. I'm like, what are you doing?
That'll wake you up.
He's like, it's okay. It's going to feel great afterwards. I'm like, it better. God.
Does it feel better?
I mean, it still hurts so bad, but it does hurt less than the side that he didn't do. So I guess maybe. But we'll see. We'll see.
There's a lot of studies and research behind voodoo floss. That's what that is. And when I messed up my knee, I was doing a lot of voodoo flossing before workouts and stuff. And I think it was really helping me. When I was trying to rebuild my VMO, I had to strip the tendons in there to make sure that there was, because part of my issue was I wasn't getting blood flow to those tendons in that area. And voodoo floss basically forces it to just whoosh right in there. And it's painful.
Oh God, it was so painful. I know. I might have to try and do that with my shoulder a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been going to PT as much, because it is an essential business. But if I don't have to be there right now, if I'm not swimming 10 times a week right now, which I'm obviously not, I just don't see spending what my health insurance covers and stuff.
For sure. I mean, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
What'd you think of those 850s on 40 today? So we did a set.
We were kind of gossiping about you when you pushed it off, but I'll tell you after that.
We did a set of 850s. Actually, we did lots of 850s
we did
today.
seven rounds of 850s. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was basically all just best average. And the swim rounds, Ray was like, okay, we're going to do these on 40.
We did 2 rounds
Two rounds on 40. And it's different for a guy to go on 40 compared to a girl to go on 40.
Yeah.
I was just like...
You were like, I'm not going down this rabbit hole. This is your guys' battle to fight. And we were like, Cody, that's because it's not as hard for you as it is for us. I mean, obviously, you're trying just as hard as we are, but getting more rest. And so you pushed off and we were like, the only reason why he's not fighting this is because he's getting 10 seconds rest and we're getting 4.
Yeah, that's true.
So we ended up doing it, and we were like, you know what, right now, it's not about the times. It's not about the pace.
It's about
even
the
if Ray says, you need to be going 200 pace on all of these, it's just in the situation we're in, it's just not feasible, So we did the best we could, and it was ugly, but we got done. Lily was not
happy.
She was not a happy camper today. We started with the 3 kick 1 pull, which is her least favorite thing.
She hates it. She hates 3 kick 1 pull.
Which everyone has their thing. I get it. I don't. God,
For everyone listening, 3 kick 1 pull is literally what it sounds like. You do 1 breaststroke stroke and then 2 additional kicks in a streamline. So you're essentially doing 3 kicks to 1 pull, and we do it as a drill and we do it fast.
Yeah.
And Lily hates it.
Well, it's gotten so much harder because now we do that fast and we do it on such a short interval.
Right.
Today we did them on 45, but we usually do 850s on 40.
Yeah.
And when we push off the wall, we don't do a pull out. We just do 3 kicks. So that makes it a lot harder going off of every wall and having to do 3 kicks before you can even take a breath. Yeah. It is a true hypoxic.
I think even when you do a pull, so even if you're just swimming and you push off the wall and you do a pull out, I think that you're able to conserve energy more on the pull out compared to the 3 kicks. Because like when you're doing 3 breaststroke kicks off a wall into 3-1 drill, that's major hypoxic. It's all legs. It's all legs. You're exerting a lot of energy and you're using all your air. You're not able to conserve any of it.
That was really hard for me to excel at when I first moved here. I remember that being like one of the hardest things we were doing, and obviously pulling, because that's just like not something that really anyone else. Yeah. That really, I don't think anyone else really does.
Well, I don't think anybody does as much breaststroke pull as we do. No way.
So those are the 2 things that I think were like the hardest for me, like acclimating and coming here, like in the pulling was
doing the pull on a minute today though, like that made it way better. Yeah. I feel like it would have been almost impossible on a shorter interval, because a lot of people listening to this podcast probably saw the video that I made about us swimming in that pool. And I talked a little bit. I talked a little bit about it in the video about how choppy it gets. Yeah. But I mean, there's nowhere for that water to go except around and back in.
Off the wall and back in.
Yeah. So like when I'm swimming, I do the 1 lap. I turn. I push off, and I'm then taking on your wake, Lily's wake, 4 other people's waves I'm swimming into. But I mean, you guys are swimming through all the slosh too. Yeah. And pulling makes it the most choppy. The water gets the pulling the most choppy.
For sure the worst. And like we'll all tell each other, we're like, no, 2nd place is the best spot. You're right behind Cody. Blah blah blah. And we're like, no, Cody, your spot's the best because you get clean water for at least like 30 yards, whatever it is. And like I've been in like pretty much every spot except for first, and I'm like, guys, like there's no best spot here. Like no one's winning in any of these situations. Like it's just because if one person goes faster, it's like, oh, you're going 4th, that's why you're going faster than me. It's like, no, that's not really why. And I came to that realization today. I'm like, they're all this terrible.
It made me feel so much better when Bailey was like, Cody, you pulled me through that set. It made it so much easier. I was like, thank you for telling me that. Because I was pulling her during that red set the other day. I was like, oh my God, Bailey.
Oh my God. See, that's where I wish my like train of thought was better, because if she had told me something like that, I'd be like, oh, like I'd be pissed. And so you're like, you know what? I'm really glad you told me that because I felt like that was really hard, So I just wish that
I felt like it was hard, and I felt like I helped her through it. I was like, okay, I'm doing something.
Doing something good today.
Something good.
It's been a trip, but I honestly will say that I think it's brought us so much closer.
Oh, totally.
Like, I really
just the carpooling alone.
Yeah.
I mean, we already spend so much time together. Like, we're all basically family.
Yeah.
Like, and all of us, aside from me, who obviously lives with Allie, we all pretty much live alone. Yeah. So, like, the only people we are social distancing. Yeah. Sure, we're swimming right now in a small group of, like, 4 people. But we don't we're not in contact with anyone else. Yeah. At all.
Yeah. So, like, you live with Allie, Lily lives by herself, and I live with Laura, who is also doing the drive with us. Yep. So it's no one is seeing anyone
and
else.
Bailey's by herself at home too.
Bailey lives by herself as well. Yeah. So I think it's as safe as we can make it while still getting the job done. And it's not like we're like going anywhere else during that time. Yeah. Like we're going to that pool and we're coming back, and that house, I should say, and like coming back. Yeah. That's about it,
But the breaststroke pull, though, was that the hardest adjustment when you started training with us? Was getting used to the pulley thing?
Yeah, I was so bad at it. Oh my gosh, I was terrible at it. That and just like learning the pulley system as well. Yeah, took me a second. Because right when I got here, we were doing a lot more. We don't do it as much anymore, but we were doing a lot of double pulleys, and so just to learn like how that system works. And also, like I know people do like power racks and people do like the towers with the big buckets and whatever, but the pulleys are different.
Oh, totally.
So it's similar concept but different, and it's really nice that we can go down and back on the pulleys. So
I think some people have seen it in my videos doing the double pulleys, but it's essentially we have a system where you hook up another 25-yard cord that goes down the pool. So you're able to do a pulley one way, let go of the cord, and then hook yourself up on the other side. So you're doing resistance both ways. Yeah. A lot of people listening have probably seen us do that, but we do that basically once a week now, or we were doing it once a week.
We were doing it once a week. We stopped for a while, and then like shortly before we got axed from our pool, we just started doing it a little bit again. But yeah, I miss our pool. I never thought I would say that, but I really miss our pool.
You never thought you'd say that?
No,
really?
I like our pool. It's so funny. Like when I came to a dual meet at IU,
What year was that?
I think I was
Maybe
a junior.
Sophomore, junior year? Okay.
I was a junior, 2014.
Okay, all right.
To 2015 was my junior year. I came here for a dual meet. And I just remember the lights have definitely changed in the pool since I was there for a dual meet. Because I just remember with like the red paint, it was a lot more red too, I think. I just remember it feeling super dark. Maybe it was also because the day after we had like this horrific practice because the men's team lost. The women's team won, for the record, but the men's team lost, so we all got punished. So I did not have good memories of this pool. Let's just like put it that way. But I remember I like moved here and I was like, okay, this isn't as like, I think it was just that one practice where I was like, oh my God, this pool, that's all that reminds me of. But now I really love it a lot more, and I really miss it right now. And the pool that we have right now, like, I can't wait to get back in our pool and just like
we're gonna fly. Not only are we staying in shape to the best of our abilities, like I think we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I'm in pretty
But like
shape.
we're swimming in a pool where we're basically like swimming in the ocean in this one lane. So when we finally get back to a normal setting, a normal environment, I feel like we're gonna be like, oh, this is amazing.
This is amazing.
It's amazing.
I can't wait to draft off of 3 people during red set. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to get our wetsuits and hop in the lake.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited.
I know.
I'm so excited.
That's gonna be awesome.
I know. I haven't done any like open water swimming in years. Yeah. Have I ever told you the story of the time I got nematodes at the OTC?
What?
Yeah. Okay. Crazy. So I think the year was 2009, maybe 2008. It might even it's irrelevant. I was in high school, and my club team, Sandpipers, went to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. Of course, yeah. You know, Ron's like, altitude.
Ron wants to pound 12 grand at
right
the OTC.
Now, at altitude, go. And we were there, and you know, there's that lake like a mile from the campus.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that they were having like the Colorado State Open Water Qualifier, and Ron was like, "All right, we're
all doing it."
What happened?
Of course. Ron's like, yes, perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to do this 10K in this lake. I've never done one before. And we do it. And a side story, there was a Paralympian named Jared who had one leg. Mm-hmm. Super cool guy, amazing Olympic athlete. And he crushed me. like all these, kicked my butt. So I'm swimming through this lake, and it's a relatively clean lake. It's not too bad. It's not too seaweedy. Mm-hmm. And you kind of swim around the outskirts. And towards the end of the race, I start I could start feeling kind of itchy. Like I felt kind of weird.
Is this a 10K or a 5K?
It was actually a 9K.
Oh, that's
weird.
Weird.
I think it's just because of the distance within the lake itself.
Okay,
it was a qualifier, so it wasn't like a so it was a 9K, and I finish, and the second I finish the race and I get out, and you know that feeling when you get out of like the ocean or lake and you get out and you start to dry and you feel kind of
like
scaly and ashy and uncomfortable. It was like that, but like way too aggressive. Like there was something wrong. I was like, this isn't right. And I go over to some of my teammates and they were feeling the same way. And we went back to the OTC, and the doctors checked us out and looked at it. And basically, long story short, apparently there was some type of leakage in the lake, like some kind of sewage leakage or something. And we all basically got like bacterial infections.
Oh my!
And it was like the next day, like 24 hours, I had like hives all over my body. Yeah, it looked like I kind of had chicken pox.
Oh my gosh.
And I was one of the worst ones. Some of the other guys had it, but we weren't allowed to train. Like we weren't allowed to swim. So like we were basically, I was at OTC.
You can't go jump in another pool with that. No.
So I was like quarantined basically for a few days up there.
It's just preparing you for this.
So after that, I was like, I hate open water. Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Oh, no. Well, I didn't have that experience doing open water, but I still don't want to do open water ever again. It was my junior year of college. We did a open water like 5K. It was for an excellent cause, so like we were glad to do it. One of Auburn's grads, Eric Shanto, who was an Olympian in 2008 and 2012.
Love Eric Shanto.
I've never met him. I've met his wife though.
That guy is an inspiration to me.
Yeah, he is freaking cool.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's cool. I've only met his wife, who also swam at Auburn, but he was holding like a Live Strong, like swim for your life 5K. It was somewhere in Georgia, which wasn't too far from us at Auburn. So he was like, "Hey, the whole Auburn team, I want you guys to come, whatever." So of course we did. And that was my first like open water race, and the lake was extremely murky. I cut off like 6 buoys. Like I was not. I was terrible. It was not good. So yeah, that was my first one. My club coach used to like make everyone, I'm from Detroit, and so our club coach used to make everyone do the Motor City Mile every year in the Detroit River, which like, I don't know if any of you are from like Detroit, but there's probably some dead bodies in there. So I don't know how. I somehow got out of it every year. I don't know how I did, but I was like, oh, it's so weird. I have this meet that no one else is going to, and I'm just going to go that same weekend. And so I got out of it every year, but then my junior year of college, they're like, here you go.
That reminds me, what's the name of that meet we used to have here? Did you ever swim in it where it was prelims, semifinal, final, all in one day?
I never swam in it.
You never swam in it?
I've heard
stories.
horrendous things.
Ray loved it because it was so hard. I never did
exactly like the Olympics.
All in one day. It's like, no, but it's not.
But it's not.
But it's
just
not.
Swimming all day.
Yeah, I don't know how I did it, but I got out of it every year for some reason. I don't even know. I never experienced it. Part of me wishes I had experienced it, like doing a 200 breaststroke three sessions in one day. Yeah. I mean, it just sounds so awful that like kind of.
It sounds like Ray's sanctuary.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like he would thrive.
Exactly.
In that
just
area.
Totally thrive.
Except for like Ray is super uber competitive and loves like the high level, and like not to say that was not a high level meet, but he thrives off of the high level of intensity of performance. So other than that, he would love that. Do as much, all the things, as many as possible. I don't.
Fast. I mean, there's a reason we don't do that meet anymore. I don't think anyone. Nobody liked it. Nobody liked it. Like no one ever had.
I can't imagine they would. 3 sessions in one day. Oh,
I know.
That sounds terrible.
Imagine doing multiple events too. How much that would suck.
Yeah. Doing multiple events, like you got to swim 6 times in one day. In college, it's a little different. Like I know, like
it was a long course meet.
When you're club swimming, like you can do 3 events in a session,
right.
But like when you're in college, it's like, oh, if you have a double or a triple in prelims and finals at NCAA's, like I would say 80% of the time you're a sprinter, so it's a 50 or 100, which is still a race, but it's not as difficult as doing 3 200s breaststroke and then something else.
And we're talking long course here. We're not even talking yards.
Yeah, no.
You know, that's like a different
world.
That's
a whole nother
different world.
That's a whole nother sport, I feel like. I just am not as strong short course as I am long course. I just feel like it's a different sport.
Yeah, well, it's something.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be months before we get to compete again, though. And we're so fortunate that we're able to train right now. Like the fact that we have this opportunity to be able to keep swimming while still following rules. And I've pointed this out before, but we're doing it legally. We have legal permission to do this. But most people aren't that way. Most people are stuck right now.
Yeah.
Like most people, I mean, hundreds of people on a daily basis are reaching out to me to ask questions or talk about it or say that they're struggling. And it's like, look, all I can tell you is if you're struggling right now, if you're like trying to cope with not being able to train, that's like, those are normal feelings and normal struggles that everyone has. Like even me, like a week ago, I think I'm in a better place now, but I was just like, that motivation just wasn't there.
It's hard because we felt like we were getting to the point, right when we, were told like, hey, IU's shutting down, no more pool for you. Like the week before that, we were in Des Moines, like racing, the week, like on Saturday, I swam the 200 breast in Des Moines. And then 6 days later, I was told my pool got shut down. And I didn't have a place to train.
Not only did you swim the 200 breast, like you threw down the fastest time in the world.
Yeah, I was
you were ready.
You were ready. Not only make the Olympic team, but hopefully do great things at the Olympics. Yeah. I was ready. Yeah. I just thought like, this is my time. I was in that space where I was ready to go. And, it's just life can just throw you some curveballs. And I know I'm sure people have heard this before. This whole experience has taught me, and of course past experiences as well have prepared me for this. I feel like it's not about like your situation or what's being thrown at you. It's about how you handle it. I feel like, and I feel grateful that we have a place to train and we have amazing people surrounding us that want to do just whatever they can to help us reach our goals. Like Ray has just gone, like, I know we make fun of him all the time, but like Ray has just gone above and beyond to help us train and realize our dreams. That guy has lost sleep. And I know he gets, paid by USA Swimming because he's a national team coach and whatnot, but his title is the IU head coach, the college team coach. He is not the IU Pros head coach. Yeah. This is not his paid
it's voluntary
job. It is voluntary.
Yeah. And USA Swimming does not pay those guys much. Like that's not a salary. That's not. Let's be clear about that.
It's not something you can live on. No, by no means. He does this because he wants to. Yeah. And I feel so grateful to have the group that I've had, not only with Ray but with you guys as well. Like Cody and Lily and Laura, Bailey. Just because I feel like we have truly been the most realistically optimistic group that we could possibly have. Mm-hmm. And, I find it sometimes kind of a little I'm not all unicorns and roses as a person, I don't like when people are like, this is great, everything's gonna be awesome. No, that hour and 45-minute drive we were doing for a week and a half sucked. It was terrible. Mm-hmm. It was horrible. Mm-hmm. But I feel so grateful that we had each other, because I certainly would not have been making that drive without you guys. Not one chance. The drive sucked, but once we got in the pool, it was like, okay, we're here. We're going to get something done. And I could, lay down at night knowing I was doing everything I could in the situation that I was in. Yeah. And so I feel like for that reason, aside from some of the emotional turmoil that comes with the Olympics being postponed and, my dreams and stuff like that, I feel like I've been pretty okay.
I was just about to say, there are a lot of swimmers out there that lost NCAAs, that lost their state meet, that lost their end of the year championship meet. And it's horrible. And I don't mean to devalue. Oh,
it's terrible. I don't
mean to undersell how horrible they feel, because obviously that's kind of the center of those people's worlds.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I feel like you really more than any of us have the right to be tremendously disappointed and bummed out and hurt. And it would be easy for you to fall into a trap of losing that motivation and getting upset and being angry and just all those kinds of things. And I feel like you've been pretty even keel. You've handled it really, really well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I've definitely had a moment of weakness or two. When the official announcement came out, I feel like I felt the same, but that the Olympics were going to be postponed. I felt pretty much the same way that a lot of people did, a sense of oh gosh, I'm so ready right now though. I'm ready to go, but also a sense of relief because, the day before our last resort pool was shut down. So right. I'm okay, well, great. Cause now this sounds so selfish, but it's well, now I don't have a place to swim. So now I do want it to be postponed,
right.
So,
but that's totally normal to feel that way. I mean,
yeah, right. And I mean, I feel like I've had a great life. I'm not going to sit here and say I haven't been privileged and blessed. I have been, but I feel like as far as my swimming career goes, I've had instances prior to this and situations prior to this where I feel like I've had one little thing go wrong and I've just let it completely derail anything that I was on track to do. And I've been really determined to make sure that doesn't happen this time around, because I feel like, I have a chance to do something really great, and I wanted it to be this summer, and, it's just going to have to be next summer, and that's fine. I've had people reach out to me and, just to preface, I know for a fact that this is coming from a good place when people say this to me. I'm not sitting here saying I'm not grateful. I'm not sitting here saying I'm not grateful that people aren't in my corner and thinking about me, whatever. But I've had random people reach out to me just being I'm just devastated for you and I'm crushed for you, and I'm I understand it's coming from a good place, and I'm so grateful that you're thinking about me in that way and your heart's going out to me, but that's not really what I need to hear right now.
Yep.
Because am I sad? Am I kind of upset? Yeah, but I'm not devastated. I'm not heartbroken. My life's going to go on, and I still have this opportunity. It's just not coming as soon as I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, like I had, you know, my moment of sadness where I was like, oh gosh, okay, you know, one more year, like it's, you know, I had that moment, and then I let myself have that moment. I'm not trying to like shove it down and disregard it and pretend like it's not there. But, you know, at the same time too, I've been surrounded with awesome people who have just, you know, allowed me to continue to have this realistic, optimistic approach like I was talking about, and to not sit in my room and have a pity party and be devastated for myself because, you know, this was supposed to be a great summer for me, you know, like.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, no one more than you would be, you know, justified in feeling that way. Yeah. But like your sense of resilience, I think, has kind of rubbed off on everybody. I think everyone in our group, you know, Lily, Bailey, Laura, we all kind of have that same sense of resilience, right? Like, I mean, we've all processed and handled things, you know, a little bit differently, but overall, I wish that there was a way for people to be able to have that strength and that understanding and that willfulness without having to go through sometimes things that really suck. But that's part of the process. Yeah. Like, I mean, we've all been through some pretty crappy things. I mean, shoot, your career has ended before.
Yeah.
Like, you've been done before.
Yeah.
So
it has.
It's
and
just...
I lived to tell the tale, you know, like I didn't make the Olympic team. I quit swimming. I graduated. I got a job, and I had a great, you know, time not swimming. I did. I found life outside of swimming, which I thought was going to be really hard, and it was. But, you know, like my life moved on, and there was a very long period of time where, you know, even still to this day, I find it hard to believe that I'm in the situation that I'm in, you know.
It's crazy, right?
In my career. Yes, absolutely.
It's so crazy.
If you told me, you know, when I started swimming again, what was it, 2.5 years ago now?
Hey, you're going to be number 1 in the world, and your training partner is going to be the world record holder.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Are you nuts? Like, no way. So I
cool.
I feel like I've been really thankful to have had the journey that I've had because, you know, I'm sure some people see my story as like an overnight success story, and that is just simply not the case
it's so far from that.
You know, like I went through a really long time, you know, training and getting back into shape, and there was a lot of days where I, you know, had to question myself, like, why am I still doing this? Like, I'm so out of shape, you know, like I'm never going to catch up to Lily. I'm never going to catch up to, you know, whoever it was that was the best of the best. You know, there was a lot of days where I knew that wasn't going to happen, and that was hard to push through. You know, it really, really was. And it really taught me, you know, patience in myself. And, you know, like I just, you know, we're sitting here in this situation where, you know, I could be devastated right now, but I can't help but think about, you know, how am I even in this situation right now? Like I'm in the opportunity right now where I'm devastated, and I'm devastated because I had a legitimate opportunity to do some really cool things this summer, and I could not have said that even when I was just moving here 2 years ago, you know? So how can I even be the slightest bit devastated when I didn't even expect any of this to happen?
I just think it's like a beautiful perspective, and I think we all kind of share in that, and that's why everything works so well. Yeah. Like I feel the same way. Like I feel like I'm, you know, because I've talked about this before, but like I've been there and I've done it. Yeah. And like to be on the other side of it, I feel like I have a whole new perspective and level of appreciation for it. Yeah. And I just feel lucky that like our group is so really, really strong. Oh yeah. And driven by like Ray, who is borderline psychotic, but in all the best ways. In all the best ways.
I mean, truly, without him, like we would not be.
No.
We would not at all be in the mindset that we're in right now, the situation that we're in right now. You know, like he has gone truly.
I mean, like the fact that today he was like, I think we need to have like a weekly Zoom meeting. And I'm like, but Ray, like
we're just the pros. It's like
we're already.
We're all right here.
We're here. He's like, yeah, but I just think it would be good. And I'm just because he wants to take the next step. Always doing the most.
Yeah,
always.
And he is also super bored. He wants to do all the Zoom meetings. God.
We were talking about getting out of shape at the pool the other day, and I heard you say something, and I put some thought into it, and I want to talk about this. You said that obviously you know what it's like to take like a year off. Yeah. To be like dead, in your own words, dead ass out of shape. Yeah. Right? And you said that there's almost no difference from taking a month off to taking a year off.
Yeah. I would say more like, I think I said maybe I don't even remember.
I don't remember exactly
I didn't remember saying this until you just said it now, but I think I said maybe 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that 150%. So
because you're basically just starting at 0.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. I mean, when I started swimming again, like my first couple practices, I couldn't do any breaststroke or butterfly. I couldn't finish a 25. I couldn't finish a 25 fly.
That's like learning how to walk again.
It really is.
Oh man.
I couldn't do a 25 fly. Breaststroke, I probably could have like pulled breaststroke, but like I was so worried I was gonna like pull something like in my legs, like in my groin, that I was just like, I'm not even gonna touch this. I think like the first like 4 or 5 days I just did freestyle and backstroke. Yeah. Because I also when I was like getting back into shape, I my old coach, who's the head coach at Pitt, who I was like gonna go swim with when I, got back into shape, I was like texting him. I was like, my backstroke actually doesn't feel that bad. He's like, well, yeah, because you didn't have that much ground to lose when you're like, you didn't have that much ground to lose on your backstroke because it's so terrible, So he was like, it's probably about the same. I'm like, thanks.
I do think that like you can get away with taking a week or 2 off and coming back relatively well.
Yeah, I mean, we took a week off because we had no choice. We didn't have a pool.
True, we did not have a pool, and then fortunately things kind of fell into place for us. And we're all pretty talented, but I think after the 2-week mark, you really start to lose it. You start to lose that feel for the water, and you start to lose that aerobic capacity, and I just think that staying fit and staying active, you got to do it. You got to keep moving.
I totally agree. Even this summer, after Pan Am's, our old coach Mike, he was like, I want you to take 3 weeks off after Pan Am's, because once we get back in September, it's full steam ahead until the Olympics. And I took 3 weeks off, the summer prior, and just, it took me, I feel like, especially since honestly at Nationals in 2018, almost 2 years ago, I still don't feel like I was 150% back in shape.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
Yeah.
So then, not feeling like I was 100% back in shape, and then taking 3 weeks off, and then like, having to get ready for what was Short Course Worlds that December, I didn't feel like I was really like back in shape and ready to go again until genuinely 2 days before we left for Short Course Worlds. And that's an honest truth.
Wow.
So I told Mike, I was like, I don't want to take 3 weeks off. He's like, I really think you need to do this. And I was like, no, but I know what it's like to be that out of shape, and I just don't want to go months and months of just working back to like where I was. So what we agreed on is, after Pan Am's, I went to Brazil to see my boyfriend, and he swims and whatever, so he was like, take a week off, go do all the touristy things in Brazil, have fun right after Pan Am's. And he's like, if you want to go and swim, like Vinny's going to swim anyway, so just go with him like 4 times the second week that you're there. Go 4 times, swim like 3,000 and get out. And I was like, okay. And he's like, and then take the second week off. And I was like, all right. And I really think that helped.
It was huge.
It was huge.
For sure.
It was huge.
No
I
doubt.
swam maybe 4 or 5 times. I did 3,000 to 4,000 and got out. And I really felt like after I took the week off after that, and I went home and saw my family, and then I came back, I felt like it was significantly easier, just because I was like not sitting on my butt like couch potato, the whole time. I was actually, doing something and keeping some kind of like feel for the water. I feel like, taking a break is important, but I feel like at our level, you also know what's best for you.
I mean, for so many people out there, they don't have the luxury of being able to keep that feel for the water right now.
No.
But you can maintain your aerobic fitness to a certain level.
Oh yeah.
And you gotta go for runs. You gotta get a kettlebell and do some burpees and do some Turkish get-ups.
Get on a bike.
You just gotta get your heart rate going. Like you gotta do something. Yeah. I feel like you gotta do something for an extended period of time that kind of sucks, that you don't like doing.
Terrible.
For real.
Yeah.
To the point where like you hate it. And if you're doing that just like a little bit every single day, like you're okay.
You know what I did a lot during not a lot. I probably did it like 3 or 4 times, but it felt like a lot. I would go to my parents' gym and I would do the stair climber. So like most 90% of people have stairs in their house, Doing a stair climber for 20 minutes
sucks.
Horrible.
Sucks.
I would get off and I would be drenched in sweat.
That's what you need.
And that's what I needed. It was great.
Yeah.
It was terrible doing it, but it was great. It was like, I really felt like I was like, by the end of it, I really felt like I was like doing a red set. You know?
Oh, for sure. I felt like we did a red set and then I had done like a 25 all out. Like I was about to die at the end of our CrossFit workout on Saturday. Yeah. Like when we did those 20 thrusters at the end of the set.
You were hurting on the thrusters, but you went all out on everything else.
I was, and that was like what, a 25 minute workout? 20 to 25 minutes. But at the end of that 25 minutes, I was ready to I felt like I was going to die. Oh my gosh. I was trying to throw that weight over my head. I was like,
oh my gosh, we were all cheering for you. It was so hard. Oh my gosh, my poor partner. He probably hadn't been to CrossFit in, I don't know, maybe like a month. I don't know him at all. God bless his heart. But he came in like 30 minutes late. Definitely not the workout that he signed up for that day. He was like, I just kind of wanted to do a couple deadlifts and then leave. And I'm like, kid, that is not what we're doing today.
You are with the Olympians today.
He was crushed. Yeah, it was brutal for him. So you were not alone in that for sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But just doing something, embracing
that's been great.
That suck.
It's for sure. It's been different. It's been something new and fresh. And I'm so sore from it. But it's something new and different. And I think that can be great right now. Yeah. Like something that you're excited about that's new and different. I feel like for me personally, that's exactly what I need right now.
I've gotten a little bit of that just from running. Like I've been going on runs every Sunday and I'm running pretty far. Not at a great pace, but I don't like running. But because I've done it several weekends in a row now, I feel like I'm seeing progress and I'm getting better at it, and that I do like.
I'm like,
awesome? Okay, I ran to Bailey's house the other weekend, and it's about 4 miles. Yeah. When I got there, I was like, okay, all right,
I did this.
I did this.
And there's kind of a steady
there's a
hill on the way up. Yeah.
I try to take some hilly routes. I try to force myself to do the hills.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I'm gonna do it.
We're gonna do it right.
We're gonna do it right. We're gonna make it suck. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is kind of a hard run.
I kind of underestimated it. About halfway through, I was like, "Oh my god!" But I was like, "I gotta do this. I gotta do this."
No, I think it's so great to have something to be excited about and something new that you can find that you love. I feel like this is the perfect time to do that. You know, and in a time where it can be really easy to slip into a hole of negativity. It should be really finding something that's new and exciting that is beneficial to you. I feel like that this is the perfect time for that, and trying anything.
I completely agree, and I feel like most people at home, you can get we have the luxury of we're able to go to a facility that we are legally allowed to be in. It's closed, but we have legal permission. We're there with police officers, and most people don't have that. But you can get a killer workout if you've just got a couple of weights at home. You can do a bunch of burpees, a bunch of push-ups, a whole bunch of stuff that you can do it. I mean, there's hundreds of people, fitness instructors online that are giving stuff out for free right now.
Oh yeah.
You can just go search all right, how do I do a killer home workout?
I've seen swimmers do a killer ab workout at home, and I feel like you could even not even with weights. I'm looking at your couch right now. You can do some dips on a couch. You can do some planks off of a couch.
Do some inverted push-ups.
Do some anything, squats, lunges, burpees.
Oh, so many body weight. I have not done this
so
many body
body weight things that you can do. Yeah. I mean, even we were doing some body weight squats at CrossFit, and I my IT band's really sore. Yeah. I had maybe a light medicine ball in my hand, but that's it. And I don't feel like that was the reason why I was so sore, is because I was doing 70 squats.
Because you're dying.
Because I was dying.
Oh, man.
But it was great, though. I left and I was like, I feel like I was productive today.
Yeah.
I didn't have to get up today. It was totally obviously everything right now is optional, but it was totally optional. I just felt like I worked out for an hour and a half and I felt good about myself.
I've slowly started slipping into a pattern of going to bed later, and I've cut myself out. I'm going to stop. Tonight, Allie and I are going to bed at 9. Allie's talked about it too. She's like, we need to start going to bed earlier. And I was like, that's why I married you. You're right. We need to go to bed earlier.
I know.
I need to. I'm normally pretty diligent and scheduled and very schedulally oriented.
I'm very type A.
But I've kind of slipped in, so now I'm getting back into it. If I'm still getting up to do stuff, I need to go to bed and keep a routine. And I'm playing too many video games.
Right, and there's also no reason for us to be waking up tired to go to lift at 8 a.m.
That was it.
If I'm tired going to an 8 a.m. lift, that's a problem.
I completely agree with you, and that is why I'm making a change. That's why I can't stay up late playing video games anymore. I told you this already, but I played like 8 hours straight, and then I woke up tired, and I'm like, all right, this is a problem.
Yeah, or when you close your eyes and you can like see the video game.
That's a problem.
In your eyeballs, that's a problem. In your eyelids. That's what happens to me sometimes when I played Candy Crush before I go to bed, and then I close my eyes and I can see the candies in my eyelids.
Fortnite's the same way. I'm playing
sure
Fortnite.
It's bright colors and
the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking tactics and strategies, how to peek over ledges.
I
will say though, like I do love being able to do that. Like that's one thing that it's able to keep me social. I've had a lot of parents reach out to me saying my kids are playing too many video games. I'm like, okay, like how much are they playing though? Like,
because I will definitely beat them.
But like I think a lot of people don't understand, like there's a lot of value in it. I was talking to Ray about it a little bit in the pool today. But Ray gets it because Ray's son loves to game, and I actually was the first person to explain to Ray some of the values of playing online video games, because when Bryce first started playing computer games, like Ray felt a little bit frustrated because he didn't know how to connect with Bryce on that level, and he didn't see the value, and I was like,
that's
dude,
hard.
it is hard, especially when someone doesn't have the background or the understanding of doing it. Like if you didn't grow up doing something and it's foreign to you and it seems antisocial, you don't understand it. But the fact is, you're engaging with other people online in a social way. Like I'm in a group with 6 people from college I can talk to.
That's so great. That's so great.
And it's constructive because we're strategizing about like how to take down another group of people, like what hills to climb, where, like it's very, very tactical.
Yeah.
And so that is a good use of mental energy.
It's just like playing a board game with a team. It's just on a screen.
Very, very much. Yeah, it is. And that's one thing that I try to like tell parents. And that's one thing that I told Ray. I was like, I feel good, but like anything else, like I have a super addictive personality, and I'm like, okay, like I've got to have boundaries. I got to limit my screen time. I have to.
I've been watching trash TV, and I just.
Are we gonna start watching the new Bachelor show?
Oh,
what's it called again?
I don't know. It's some Bachelor. We'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
So with the music people.
Yeah.
Wow. It's only 6 episodes though.
Oh, really?
I saw a commercial for it today. It's only 6 episodes.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like half the normal.
I bet it was like a test.
It's
let's
for
see how this
sure
goes.
a test because 6 episodes. That's only half of a normal Bachelor season, I think. Well, definitely gonna watch it. Yeah. Definitely. Big Bachelor fan. We're gonna have to go down that hole.
100%.
I know. I've been watching some other trashy TV shows, but. You and Allie, God, there was another show that's coming out on Netflix. It's another like reality.
Oh, I think you sent me something about this.
I sent it to you and Allie.
Okay, all right.
It was like it comes out this Friday, really? And it's like some show. It's another dating show. Oh, it's like dating and money. It's like, will you choose love or will you choose the money?
Yes,
it's what we love, Cody. This is our niche.
Allie's gonna love it.
We love it. It's kind of like a Paradise Hotel sort of thing. Oh, rest in peace, Paradise Hotel.
I know, forever in our heart.
Forever in our hearts.
We miss that show.
We do.
I want Lily to go on Love Island USA so bad.
Oh my god.
She gets so mad when I talk about it. I tweeted about it once. She was like, "How dare you do that?"
Oh my god.
Like, come on, Lily,
I remember that. She was like, no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I didn't watch the USA Love Island last summer, but maybe I could pick up on that.
Hey, you got the time.
I have lots of time.
You got the time.
I know. I've been watching Real Housewives, and I hate that I have started that. But
that's one I can't watch.
I know. I don't know if I can carry on much longer. It's just so.
It's that bad.
All they do is fight with each other, and I'm like, this is so stupid. Even for me, this is too petty.
Oh, not to get too serious, but I wanted to ask you this: do you feel like, in your swimming career, like after you came back and started swimming, do you feel like the moment or the race that kind of shotgunned you forward and gave you the most momentum was when you won gold at Short Course Worlds? Was that like...
Good question.
Because like I remember before that meet, like you were going and we were all talking about it, but I mean, similar to me, like no one ever pegged me to be like this great Olympic breaststroker, and I don't think anyone
I wouldn't say that's true.
I would.
Okay.
I mean, we can debate that.
Maybe a couple years leading up to it. Like I remember when you won nationals in 2014, that was a big deal.
Right.
And I think before that, people hadn't seen you outside of the NCAA level as like an elite, top of the world.
That's true.
Swimmer. So I think that was like really your coming out party. So I know that meet.
Well, I was always so radically overshadowed by Kevin because Kevin is
elite on the short course and long course
for so long, for so many years.
He was a year younger than you.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was always on the world's team. Always like I wasn't even on a national team.
That's right.
But I mean, so like when I won,
sorry,
it's okay. So like when I won nationals that summer, that gave me like the confidence 2 years out from trials where I was like, okay, like I can do this. Yeah. Like I felt kind of legitimized, and I almost felt like I already always, because I knew how good you were, because you know I remember watching you swim, and I know what you did at trials in 2016, and then when you came back, I was like, okay, this girl could be really good. But I feel like a lot of other people that are into swimming, that follow swimming, saw you win gold at Short Course Worlds, and they were like, oh, and that was like a big. And so I'm wondering, like, not from a public perspective, but for you, was that a moment where you were like, okay, like I can really do this? You know what I mean? Or was it something else? Or
it's so hard to tell because it was short course meters, and I feel like that was a whole year before the ISL even started. So I feel like for us Americans, you know, short course meters was such this, you know, for most, just like this uncharted territory. So it was really hard to tell, you know, if that was really like the start of something great, I guess I could say. I mean, it still made me a world champion. It still calls me a world champion. It's so legit. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I remember I came back cool. And Mike was like, I mean, he used some profanities that I won't say on here, but he was like, that was pretty effing cool. You know, like, it's like, you weren't supposed to do that, and you did it. And I was like, that's you're right, Mike. But yeah, you know, I don't really think I read too much into that, to be honest. I was like, I'm a world champion. Cool. Let's do something else. You know, like, really, I'm serious. I don't, and I feel like, you know, this could be a, you know, a double-edged sword for having the environment that we're in. I just feel like, you know, I came back, and, you know, I'm surrounded by Lily, who's an Olympic champion and a world record holder. You, who's an Olympic champion and a world champion. You know, like, Blake came back with me. Like, there's only 3 of us who went, and 2 of us won. A 66% rate, a success rate's pretty good, you know? So, you know, Blake won the 200 free individual, and he was on a bunch of world record setting relays. And so I came back, and it just seemed pretty normal, you know? Like, people,
but it's so not.
That's
the crazy thing. We forget how
crazy that is.
Crazy
you know?
it is.
So, I had a couple, you know, like, it was nice to like have, you know, Vinny as like a nice perspective, because he's Brazilian, and short course meters, the Brazilians thrive in short course meters. So he, you know, they obviously were watching it at home, and you know, he kind of reminded me, like, you know, I know like you're American and you guys don't really like put as much emphasis on short course meters, but like this is a very big deal, and you need to understand that, you know. So it was nice to like kind of have him when I doubted myself really ever. He is just so great, and
he's the best.
He's the best. Sorry, I'll go off my rant about him, but he's great. So he kind of reminded me of that a little bit, but I really feel like my like I'm here party was, you know, when I went 220 in Bloomington. That was really my like. I was like, there's only...
What a fun meet that was.
How cool.
So fun.
You know, for both of us. So cool.
Yeah.
You know, I loved being able to like share that with you, because that was your first big, you know, swim since like
getting hurt.
Like getting hurt, and the disappointment that came with, you know, 2018. And, you know, I can only imagine how tough that was for you, you know, personally, you know, as an athlete, but also as a person, because you took this huge risk, you know, 10 months before starting this vlog, and really putting your life, you know, out there for people to see. And so, you know, I know swimmers, you know, have all of this, you know, they have ups and every swimmer has ups and downs, but, you know, for you to, you know, handle it the way that you did in the environment that you had put yourself into, was really admirable, because, you know, like, you're like, yeah, I just had this really bad meet, and I'm super crushed and disappointed about it. But I've also, you know, started this, you know, this YouTube channel where I've showcased my life with everyone. And that means I have to show the bad along with the good.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the way that you presented it to people was, one, just so dead on relatable. I mean, I just remember watching it being like, this is it. Like, yes, you know. And also, you know, it really made people see that, you know, like, Olympians have feelings too. Like, Olympians are people too, you know. And so, you know, I just sidetracked there, but just going back to, the Bloomington meet, that was just such a cool moment for like the two of us to have together, because you're just like, I'm back. And
that was so cool.
Better than ever. And, for me to like have that swim, I remember like, I was just like in such like a daze, like in such shock.
I'm getting goosebumps right now.
I can't believe that like that happened, quite frankly. I was not expecting that to happen at all. I was expecting to do well, but not 220 well.
Yeah, not number one in the world.
Yeah,
well.
not swimming the time that won the Olympics, 2 years prior well. It was really cool to go, after I warmed down and stuff like that. I went into I went back to like get my stuff and whatever, and one of the coaches, Kirk, was like, "Oh, hey, like second fastest American all time." And I was like, "What are you?" I'm like, "What?" I had no idea.
That's so cool.
I don't really like, I feel like one of my like, things that has benefited me since coming back to swimming is kind of my, I don't want to say like naivety about the sport. Like I follow swimming and I enjoy it and I like it, but I'm not a huge like data person like Blake is.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at myself seeing like, my rankings all the time and whatever. Right. So, when I came back and, one of the coaches was like, the only American who's ever gone faster than you is Rebecca Soni.
Yeah.
And I was like,
when she won gold.
Whoa.
Yeah. What? That was so cool. When we saw the 220, we were like, oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah, that was, I feel like that was my, like, I'm here party,
for sure.
So that was really cool. And to back it up with a few, like a few 221s since then, has been really gratifying and justifying, So I feel like that was my big moment. And I know it wasn't like the biggest stage of my life that I've ever been on, but that's just how I felt, So
that was definitely one of my proudest meets too, because like you said, that was the first time that I'd thrown down, like a time that was top 10 in the world again. Yeah. They're really close. I'm on a best time. Like it was almost crazier that I went a lifetime best time in the 200 after taking a lot of time off, being injured, rehabbing it, and then doing like legitimately 50% of the training that I had been doing. And then I went a best time in the 200, doing a lot of sprint.
It just goes to show that there's not, and I feel like our situation right now, is also, I feel like, going to paint this really well. And people, in 14 months from now, I'm confident that people are going to have great swims at the Olympics, regardless of their situation right now. I'm confident of that. I just think that paints so well that there is not one clear-cut path to success.
Definitely.
There really is not. And I used to feel that way. I used to feel like, I found one thing that worked for me like a couple times, and I'm like, I only have to do this. Every single year now, I'm only doing this. And then ended up, it didn't work after a while, So I just feel like, people, I feel like that is such a great story to tell people in that, like you don't have to be doing, if you're just giving it your all with what you have, you're going to see results.
For sure.
I think that that's a great story.
I think that you just need to believe in what you're doing for sure.
Oh,
like that's 100%. The biggest thing. And it was hard for me to buy into my new training coming back off my injury because we just didn't know what my knee was going to be able to take. No. So I was doing a lot of singles, less volume, more lifting, all that kind of stuff. And I kind of had to lie to myself a little bit that no joke, like that it was going to work.
Kind of do.
Kind of did. And then I finally gained a little bit of confidence. And, the term fake it till you make it's kind of real. Like
it is.
I think that, I've talked about this in several Zoom meetings this week and in my video, but one of my favorite quotes is from John Gordon's book, The Energy Bus. And he says that positivity or positive energy is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Yes.
And I really believe that. Like if you look in the mirror every day and you say something positive to yourself and you kind of live by that, it builds.
Yeah.
And even if you don't believe it 100% of the time, if you make it a habit, of almost lying to yourself, of forcing yourself. And that's kind of what I had to do. And it worked.
The amount of lying I did to myself the first year that I was coming back into swimming, I mean, like, just trying to like build myself up. Like I was saying, I had to have so much patience with myself. Yeah. I was going so slow. My pace times were horrible. I was out of shape, it was nowhere near where I was, right before Olympic trials, which had been a year and a half prior to me in the thick of getting back in shape, But I had no choice but to, tell myself that I was doing everything I could do. I was controlling everything that I could control. And, you know, like, okay, yeah, maybe this is still 3 seconds slower than what I'd be going a year and a half ago, but I'm going half a second faster than I was going 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And that's something.
Right.
You know, I might be 200 steps behind where I was a year and a half ago, but I'm 10 steps forward than where I was last week.
Perspective.
It was so much perspective that I had to keep for myself, and just so much patience. And,
well, it's also,
I feel like that applies, in so many situations, not even just swimming, but
it's
life.
also just understanding that you're gonna have bad days. Things aren't gonna go the way you want, and you're gonna have those moments of doubt and those moments of weakness where there is uncertainty.
Oh yeah.
And I think that everyone, no matter who you are, has those feelings. It's how you combat those feelings. Just like, shit happens in life, it's all about how you deal with it. It's all about how you deal with your mind, because you'll have those thoughts for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like we have those, and that's one thing that I love about Ray so much, is that he puts you in uncomfortable situations and forces you to deal with it.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of those things become mental. Like today, just doing those 850s on 40, like reading the room, none of you guys wanted to do that.
Yeah. The first round was so hard. And then we got to like the first round that we did, the 850s, was like round 3 total of 7 maybe. So then we got to the 6th round and we were doing it again, and we were like, right, we
are dying.
This is not, I don't agree that it wasn't productive. I think it was productive in some way. It just wasn't the exact results that we were going to hear, that we were hoping to look for,
right.
So I think there's a stark difference between those two things. But yeah, I feel like, I feel so over prepared, in my normal, training environment and racing environment. Ray and being here at IU has made me feel just so over prepared physically and mentally. Where I get behind the blocks for
battle hardened.
My third 200 breast in 36 hours, being like,
got this.
This is not even that bad,
strong.
and I used to kind of fear the 200 breast a little bit, even though it was my best event. It's a painful event, and it's a long event, and I would fear it, and now I get behind the blocks and I'm like, I did a 400 breast for time last week. Like
you're gonna be okay.
I'm gonna be all right, So it's been really nice to kind of have him put us in these situations, being like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was like, obviously that interval on 40 was a little bit easier for me to make. But towards the end, Ray was like, okay, I need you to go 29. Okay, I need you to go 28.
Yeah.
And had he not like put that on me, I wasn't even, my brain was like, there's no way I can do that.
I'm just going to fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
But sometimes fake it till you make it
works. It worked. I pushed off and I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Like if I die, I die. Let's roll. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. He puts you in those situations and he's like, if you don't go 29 on this, I'm quitting coaching. I'm like, you're not going to do that, but I'll try, Ray.
So many people really, I mean, obviously there's not one coach that can coach everybody, right? Like every coaching style is different, but I think that it takes a strong person to be coached by Ray.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Because I've seen a lot of, to put it delicately, weaker-minded people kind of crumble under that pressure.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I could have handled Ray as a college swimmer.
There you go.
Truly, I don't think I was, not to discredit Ray's coaching or his personality or his style whatsoever, but I just think I have rapidly morphed into a different person than I was my freshman year of college. You know what I mean? As a lot of people have, hopefully, But I don't think I would have been able to handle that as an 18-year-old. It's very difficult.
It's hard.
Even when I came here as a 23-year-old, it was difficult, but I was a much stronger minded person then, so I could handle it.
Yeah.
But the training is hard and his expectations are extremely high.
Impossibly high.
Sometimes it is impossible. He's like, go faster than your dual meet time in practice. I'm like, if I'm going my dual meet time in practice, I should be going faster in dual meets. That's just the bottom line there. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. But we're lucky though. We're super lucky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. People, I want most of the young kids to know that those doubts are totally normal. It's learning to combat that. Like learning to combat that little devil on the side of your shoulder that's telling you that you can't do something. Yeah. You just got to learn how to silence
no, just stay on the couch. This is so comfy. No, like that's why you're feeling the way you're feeling right now. Get up and do something, and you'll feel so much more productive. The day will go by quicker. Like, you know, I know that's weird to say right now, but it's like all the days are the same right now. So you know, why not make something different and you know, say that you did something today? You know,
like I feel so much better on Sunday after I go for a run in the morning. I'm just like, okay, like if I'm lazy the rest of the day, I almost feel like I earned it. I'm like, all right, this is okay. Like I'm okay. I'm not stagnant. Like I'm making somewhat, it feels like I'm making progress. You feel like you can do other things like during the day. I think it's so cute that you cook Allie breakfast on Sundays. Oh, thanks.
I think that's really cute and sweet.
I'm going to make her something special this weekend because it's her birthday.
Oh,
birthday.
She's got some big birthday trees coming. That I'm not gonna
spoil
it like I did last year.
That's right, I forgot. I totally forgot. You spoiled it.
I ruined the biggest birthday present like of all time, and I still to this day lose sleep over embarrassment. No, I swear to God,
it wasn't that bad.
Oh my God, it was so bad. So Allie and Cody went skydiving last year for Allie's 30th birthday, and so we surprised them all at Punch Bowl Social. Which in my defense, was supposed to be after you guys went skydiving.
You're right.
I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, you didn't. So it's not really. It was an accident.
It was a total accident. I still felt horrible, but it was a total accident. Oh my God, I'm getting like hot just thinking about it. I'm not kidding.
You know what's funny? After you like let it slip and Allie found out, she's like, "We're going skydiving." She like didn't even blink. Like, well, she was excited. But I mean, like, the reason I was keeping it a secret was because I didn't want her to be thinking about it. Because Allie's the type of person, as you know, who overthinks and gets really concerned and freaks out. Like, we're laying in bed. I'm about to fall asleep. She's like, is the garage door shut? I'm like, ugh. Every night. Like, all the time. Stuff like that. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Girls think about stuff like that. I feel like that's kind of a girl thing.
Well, you know? It's something. And I was like, okay, I'm not about to let the fact that we're going to jump out of an airplane like loom in her brain.
Overthink this.
Right, but like she was more chill about it than even I was.
Oh yeah,
and I was
she was
pretty
stoked.
Chill. Yeah.
When I let it slip, I could see in her eyes when I ruined the surprise that she was very excited. So, anyways, in my defense, they were supposed to go skydiving that afternoon, and then they were going to come to Punch Bowl Social, and we were all waiting for her there.
That's right.
We were going to have a big party for her. It was awesome.
The party was super
fun. Oh my gosh,
it
was
awesome.
So much fun.
It was so fun.
But anyways, so they come in, and I didn't really think, like, it was kind of drizzly that day and overcast and cloudy, so I didn't think, oh, obviously they're not going to go skydiving today. They're going to postpone it for another day because, you know, it's gross outside. Why would you want to go skydiving when it's raining? You really can't. So they walk in, and I'm like, Allie, how was skydiving? And Blake was like, I didn't tell her. Oh my God, I didn't tell her. Ryan's like, what's going on? And Ryan's like, oh yeah, how was it?
Oh, Ryan held you goofball.
And Allie was like, oh. And Cody was like, oh my God. Like, God bless Cody because he is so nice, but I know he was so, I ruined like the
honestly,
biggest
I was a
ever.
little bit relieved though, the way she took it.
Oh, she was so excited.
Like I was like, I wasn't mad about it because, like I said, the reason I was keeping it from her was because of how I thought she was going to react. I never doubted she was going to do it. It was just that the
initial nervous.
Yeah, and she didn't even flinch.
Yeah. So. She was so excited.
Yeah, she was psyched.
Yeah. So she was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, did I? Blake was like, oh my God, Cody, I didn't tell her. I'm so sorry. So it's like it's always Blake's fault, but it was like a little bit Blake's fault too. But yeah, no one told me it was postponed, so I royally messed that one up.
That's
and
okay.
I still to this day feel so bad about it.
That's okay.
Yeah, I won't ruin the presents that you got for her this year. They're super sweet and thoughtful. Aww. And they're gonna be great. She's gonna love all of them.
Oh yeah, I think some of them are gonna be really fun.
Yeah. Oh, they're so up her alley.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, now everyone's gonna be like, "What's Allie getting?"
We
have to know.
We can't spoil it
in the vlog.
I got a question from Patrick who said, "How will the U.S. conduct world and Olympic trials, separate or together?" So like. This is something I should have texted someone at USA Swimming about this, but because right now they've got Worlds like a month after the Olympics.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're going to send like a B team to Worlds, like 3rd and 4th place from trials? Or will they do both?
Question. Or they might just be like, you know, not to say, quote unquote, sorry, Olympic team, you have to go to Worlds. Going to Worlds is undoubtedly a huge honor.
It is.
You know, it would just be really tough to do that double back to back. 100%. You know, going to the Olympics and the high of the Olympics.
I can't imagine.
And then going to World Championships after that. That's just hard physically, mentally, emotionally. Like, you know, especially having this whole extra year that we now have to have to train for the Olympics, you know. Everyone's going to be emotionally fried.
Like what a weird situation too, because as you said, and you're right, coming off of the Olympics, it takes a very unique person to be able to get up and go and get excited for another meet right away. Right away. I mean, it took me like 8 months before I was like ready to like really race again.
And even that I feel like is pretty good. You know, like we talked to Lily and she struggled so much.
Like I went to short course Worlds 6 months later, having taken a lot of time off, and like I wasn't ready for that meet. I didn't want to go. I wasn't happy that I was there. And that sounds horrible because I was representing US at World Championships, but it's just something I'd never been through before. And to imagine having to go to like another meet, even though it is, as you said, an honor to go to World Championships, huge deal, incredibly fun meet. But man, and then to think like, okay, so say theoretically, obviously 1st and 2nd place individual events go to the Olympics. Are you going to send 3rd and 4th to Worlds? Like,
I think that's a good idea.
I do too, but can you imagine Annie getting 3rd?
Stop. I don't even want to think about that.
I know. That's the thing. Like that. See, like it sounds like a good idea, but I mean, if anyone out there misses an Olympic team and then it's like, oh well, you get to go to World Championships. Like the burn of that. It's almost like
hard.
I mean, it's on one hand, let's I'll play both sides. Like on one hand, it's wonderful and it's an honor that you get to go to Worlds and you get to be a part of that, because that is truly an honor.
It's a huge deal.
But on the other hand, it also kind of highlights the fact that you're not at the biggest meet of the year, really, in the sport. It's like that's
how we kind of felt last year being at Pan Am's.
Yeah,
you know,
is. You're right.
You know,
you're right.
And you know, I fully realize, and I'm sure you do too, that you know the selection process for Worlds was the summer before, and I got 3rd, and 3rd place does not go to World Championships.
Well, had they selected from, say, Bloomington, which was a month before Worlds that summer, who would have made the team? Other people.
Well, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, we had a small inkling of that feeling, you know, last summer when, you know, you went the 59.2, which was the 2nd fastest time of all Americans last year, and I went 106.0 and 220, which was 2nd and 1st amongst Americans last summer, you know, like. Then we had to watch Worlds from our couch, you know, and then 2 weeks later we go to Pan Am's, which was still, you know, great. And we're representing the United States. That's awesome. I do not at all want to take away from that experience or what an honor it is to be there whatsoever.
For sure.
However, knowing that we rightfully deserve to be at that higher level meet was a tough pill to swallow.
Well,
you know?
I think that method of selecting a team a year in advance, I think that's probably going to be over now, because the way that they've been doing it, just because that's the way that USA Swimming has always done it. They kind of like I've heard some of the higher up, some of the olders of USA Swimming say that, well, we kind of like having like a decent Worlds, not like the best Worlds ever the year before, like because the year before the Olympics, that World Championships is always fairly weak for the United States.
I remember 2015.
I was on that team.
Yeah,
that was a disaster.
I was at Pan Am's that summer again, and I remember being like
we had so many events where no one made finals, which for the United States is honestly unacceptable.
We barely qualified for the 4x1 free relay that summer, which the next summer the men won, but they barely qualified.
The men didn't qualify.
I thought it was top 12.
At Worlds, they didn't qualify.
I thought it was top 12. They didn't? Wow.
Yeah. So, well, basically, that's just a reason. It's like you don't choose a team a year in advance.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
It's
that's
hard.
That's not a smart thing to do.
It's just like, you know, and I knock on wood right now because I'm hoping this doesn't apply to either of us this upcoming year. It's so hard to like think that way. It's like, you know, a lot happens.
Yeah, a lot happens.
In a year. A lot does happen in a year. So, you know, it's, you know, I personally would feel, I remember a survey, you know, went out to a lot of the world-class top, you know, FINA's top athletes, you know, saying, what would you rather have? And I think we kind of all agreed that we would rather have Worlds in 2022.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that makes perfect sense because, you know, like, again, I am not at all trying to diminish any of these other high-level international meets whatsoever, but I feel like, that even year that isn't the Olympics is kind of a down year for major international meets. The U.S. goes to Pan Pacs and they send 3 people, and it's maybe only 4 or 5 major swimming countries. It's, the U.S., Canada, Japan, Australia, Brazil, and a lot of other smaller countries in there. But, there's Commonwealth Games and stuff like that. It's not like the World Champions or the Olympics. It's kind of a little bit of a lull. Yeah. So I just feel like that would be so much better of a setup. And then, people who are swimming a year after the Olympics, they're going to want to go for 2 more years. You know what I mean? So the people who do get 3rd and 4th, and if you want to send them to Pan Pacs or Commonwealth Games or whatever that may be, that would be great. It would be like us going to Pan Ams. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like, that's just the best case scenario for everyone involved. But,
for sure.
We'll see what they do, because we just have 2 different governing bodies who are just very, a little at odds.
They're little button heads for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see. But that's a good question. Yeah. It's a good question, because, even we don't know right now.
Have you publicly announced who you've signed with or who you're committed to for the ISO?
Not.
So we can't talk about that?
We can't talk about that.
Okay, that's all right.
I know.
But it's exciting, though.
It's a juicy one. Yeah. Stay tuned.
Well, technically, you haven't signed with anyone now that all the contracts are void, though.
I know, but I did. I had a contract. I inked it, and I sent it in. So,
but I'm sure you have probably a verbal commitment to maintain
I do. And I've talked to the GM, and, we've, this GM and I have been in constant contact with each other. So, that's still very much happening. Yeah. So, but yeah, we can't talk about that.
It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out too.
I know, it's really interesting, especially now that everyone's gonna be making the same amount of money.
Very strange.
Given that scenario now, I know that really hurts someone like a Caleb or a Lily or gosh, who else?
Even Blake.
Yeah. God love him. Yeah, like a Blake. But for me, I picked, I'm still gonna make a little bit less money on this, new stipend that we're all on, but I kind of went for, a smaller percentage, of the total, pot, and I took a little bit lower of a contract deal to be on the team that I chose to be on. Right.
Well, you chose the team for other reasons.
Yeah. And we'll talk about them.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll talk about them at a later time.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. And now, so now I feel like this whole situation that's happened, I have kind of benefited from it a little bit, because now I've chosen this team, and regardless of, I chose it, not really solely because of the money, you know. So, obviously, yes, it is all about money, and it's about making a living and whatnot. And I felt like I chose a team that was going to be successful for me financially in the bigger picture. Yeah. Exactly. So now I feel like that kind of benefits someone like me.
Yeah. We have a couple quick fire questions. We're at an hour right now, so we'll wrap it up in a minute.
Oh, wow.
But I know, look at us go. Look at us just chatting away. See how easy this is?
Chatting along. Just like a normal day.
We have a great one from Grant, who says, if you could make any flavor Pop-Tart, what would it be? I love this one so much.
I don't buy them often.
It's been a while since I bought Pop-Tart.
My mom did send me and Vinny a little care package, and she put some brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts in there for me. She knows I love them. And, what a great woman. Oh, so yeah, what a woman. So I that's my favorite flavor, and I know that flavor already exists, but I have to choose a flavor.
I can't imagine a flavor that is better than the s'mores. The s'mores flavor is so
incredible. That's
good.
Probably my second favorite, because I'm not a huge chocolate person.
I am.
I know. It's like I have something wrong with me.
Allie's not a huge chocolate person. But it's weird.
I love a good chocolate chip cookie, but that's kind of about it.
I am not ordering baked again. We ordered baked cookies. They delivered to my house.
So good.
I consumed 24 cookies and not a lot of time.
They're so good though.
And I wanted to throw them out. I was like, Allie, we have to throw them out because I keep eating them.
You only have to buy 6. You can't buy the 24. You have to just buy 6.
No, but they're
so good.
They were so good. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I won't do it. I'll throw it out. Yeah. Like when we ordered some pizza. Like a week or two ago, I think I told you this. We ordered Domino's, and they delivered 6 of those brownie things. That's like 30 plus brownies. They just gave me, and I was like, Allie, I'm throwing these away because I will eat them. Yeah. They gotta go.
You have to.
Yeah, I did.
You should have just driven them down to my house.
You would have been so mad at me.
I know.
Lily would have taken them.
Okay, so Pop-Tart flavor.
Oh yeah.
If I like had a death row dessert that I had to eat, it would be like a hot like apple cobbler with like the nice little like brown sugar topping on it with like some salted caramel and like some vanilla ice cream. That would be like my ultimate last meal like dessert. So if I had to pick, I would definitely say maybe like an apple pie flavored one with like some like a salted caramel like frosting on top.
Ooh. Is there a cookies and cream flavor? Because if not, that's my pick.
Ooh.
That I don't know if there is. I've never had one.
I don't know if there is either.
That's my pick.
I feel like there should, or like an Oreo flavor.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
There might be.
I have to get Allie Oreos tonight, she said. So.
Hey,
anyway.
happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life, straight up. A_Dlip asks, what are some of the movies you've been watching on quarantine? I'm using this question to ask you. Have you seen Parasite yet?
Seen Parasite yet. I know.
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet. I did tell you I was going to watch it this weekend, and that turned out to be a lie. But it's on my Hulu, and I see it every day. I just need to be in a space where I'm like ready.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to overhype it because I feel like that's not going to help the situation.
I know. It did win Best Picture, though. And you and I do have kind of an affinity for really high-quality movies.
We do.
So I appreciate that about our friendship. Yes.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree. This question has already been answered, but Jerry Zhang asks, can you get Annie on the podcast? Done.
Dude, your wildest dreams come true. Here I am.
He also asks, are you dieting, like doing anything different with your diet?
Am I dieting? No. Am I going out of my way to consume a lot more vegetables right now? Yes. Like when I'm hungry, I go to and this is so like, I don't have a bad diet by any means, but there definitely is like certain things that I know I can eat like before an afternoon practice that I know will like kind of get me through the practice. But with our schedule being so different now, it's kind of hard. We're like, we eat breakfast and then we kind of like make this drive to practice, you know? So, but now when I am like quote unquote hungry, I'll either grab some like, carrots and broccoli and hummus, or I'll grab like maybe like a couple cups of like, Skinny Pop popcorn. But like,
I love that stuff.
It's so good. It's so good.
I need to get on that sponsor.
But that's really what I'm been trying to do. And I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job at it. So that's kind of been my change. It's just like, if I'm hungry, like just eat something healthy, because I'm not in the space right now where I can go have, a couple chocolate chip cookies or some ice cream, So I feel like that's really the only change I've been making.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We splurge. Like every once in a while we go hard.
We do.
Man. All right. Well, that's I think that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for doing this.
That was pretty good.
Just two friends having a conversation.
Nailed it.
I try to keep it super casual. Like if I'm going to do these more often, I don't want to do like the interview style. I just want to like have a conversation with people and just let it roll.
And we talked about things that we've talked about before, and a lot of things we haven't talked about
it's true. We've never really talked about like the Bloomington meet. Like we've never actually had a conversation about like what that meant and how that meant to us. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That meant like, similar things to us, but from different paths, I feel like that's really cool to like share that with someone.
Like I feel like all of us in our group, like we all have like a mutual understanding, like we know each other really well, and there's just a lot of unspoken things. Like, not to go off on a tangent here, but the one thing that I love about it is like everyone is driven and knows what everyone's goals are. Like we're all there to either like make the Olympics or win a medal or do, it's just like just total devotion. Yeah. And I think that's so cool. It's so cool. I thrive. I thrive off of it. And not to discredit, any other, program that I've been to or whatnot, but it just feels like the environment that we're in right now, like I feel like we really need to go out of our way to appreciate but just support one another. Just the environment that we have right now, because it is so rare. Yeah. 100%. So rare. And I really am doing my best to just really try and appreciate every time I get to swim with you guys, because,
not a lot of programs have the amount of Olympic gold medalists and world champions and Olympic medalists and national team members that we have. And it's not all about the labels. It's about how good the people are. And we have great people as well. Like, they're not just athletes, but, you know, I think there's a certain attitude that comes with that stature of an athlete. And, you know, I think we all kind of have a lot of similar qualities in the fact that we are there for a purpose and we want to get the job done, and we all want to push ourselves and each other to be the best we can be. And I just think that's really cool. I
totally agree. All right, everybody, go online and follow Annie on Instagram. Find her on Twitter. Give her a follow. Thanks for doing this. Bye, everybody.
Bye.